Okay, this is how your essay screen would look like. You need to read the essay. Once reading it well, I don't recommend reading it thoroughly in the first go. Make sure first you have a look at the number of questions given, what is required, and then you try to go for details. Spending too much time on reading the essays will only waste the overall scheme of things. So what you will do, just quick reading. We have been given this company's results from year 1, 2, 3 and 4 and year 3, and this is the result for the comparator, and this is the industry average. So Foyle Incorporated has presented the comparative income statement for the 3 most recent fiscal years that are shown below. While profitable, Foyle has been losing market share and is concerned about future performance. Also presented are the data for the Foyle's largest competitor here and the industry averages. So we have the revenues for 3 years and competitors' revenue, CGS, sales and marketing, general and admin expense, research and development, and operating income. So it appears that's all. That's what has been given in the essay type. The first question asks, using the 3 Foyle's income statements, prepare 3 income statements for year 1, 2 and 3. Prepare a comparative common size statement using revenue as the base measure. When you take revenue as the base measure, what does it mean? It means he's talking about the vertical common size analysis. You will take revenue as a base and you will express every number as a percentage of revenue. I'm sure all of you know that on essay type you people would be given a couple of pages, rough pages called scratch paper, where you can simply jot down the key points, and that's where this would come handy. You will construct the vertical common size analysis of all these. You'll take 100 as the base for all. Do them for all. Assume you're doing this working on your rough sheet. 12,000 is what percentage of revenue? You will divide 12 by 20 multiplied by 100. That's going to be 60%. Gross profit is what percentage of revenue? 8,000 by 20. That's going to be 40%. You will express every number as a percentage of sales. 10%, 75%, 7.5%. Then again 7.5%, and the last operating profit is 15%. You will do the same thing, and remember you're all doing this on your rough paper, and you can always compare the numbers. You can use that to input your responses on the essay screen. 12,000 is what percent of 24,000? Again 12 is what percent of 24? 50%, 8.3%, 8.3, 8.3, and finally it's 25%. Alright, so you'll do it for the 3rd year as well. 18,000 is what percentage of 30? We'll simply write the percentages. 60%. 12 is what percentage of 30? It's 40. 6.7%, 10%, 3.3%, and finally 20%. So you can use this data to construct a vertical common size analysis. You will have to simply write down these percentages on this screen. You can simply use the same information. You write down your revenues, you write down your cost of goods sold, all the expenses given, and you can give in year 1. If you ask me, sir, is it possible to have this kind of question on the exam? My answer would be a straightforward no. Why? Because that's my experience for the last 9 or 10 years, that it's very unlikely he will give you questions requiring tabulation like this one, where you need to give the information in the columnar form. It was true in the previous exam format. It's also true in the current exam format, because you've got this limited space and you cannot construct the tabulation using tab again and again to give the information. Yes, that's possible in CPA, because in CPA exam simulation you have tables for drawing up balance sheets and income statement. That's not possible in CMA exam, because it's just a word editor that doesn't give you the facility of an Excel sheet. That's what we use for drawing up our financial statements. Nonetheless, in case, let's prepare for the worst if it does. So this is how you will first jot down all the workings, and you just have to quickly type it in here. Let's say if you have written revenue here and you want to write the percentage here, you simply use the tab twice or thrice and you will write the number here, and then press twice tab and you get this. Next time when you write the cost of goods sold, use tab twice, same number of times as you used up, and so that you can have the alignments. Using tab in equal spaces in every row would help you align your numbers in a straight vertical column. It's time consuming, and that's the reason we don't get questions like these. So having a scratch paper with you, writing down the workings over it, you will simply put the numbers, type it in, and use tabs to give in the column form. So if we do, you will get something like this. In the first row, you will give multiple tab presses. You will write here 1, 2, 3. Then you will write revenue, 2 tabs, write 100%. 1 tab or 2 tab, the space you want to give 100%. Then again tab, press enter, and then you can write down. And again, there will be a problem how you're going to write this underline. What you will do, you select the text, the whole of it, or maybe just this one, and press this underline button. So when you press underline, a line will come under all these. Then again, you have to deactivate the button for the next row. Write this down, 40, 50, 100. Write it down like pressing the tab again and again and again. And once you need to give the operating income, select this text, press tab, line will come, and the last line you can write the percentages, and you're good to go. Your first question is done. 25% of the job is over. Right? Now you can move to the second question. Second question says prepare a common base year income statement using year 1 as the base year and show your calculations. So you will take year 1 as a base. Year 1 would be taken as a base. You will write all the variables, revenues, CGS. You will write your GP, your selling and admin expenses. Please excuse me for this crudity because we have limited time. I just want to give you the idea. Because typing is quite an easy thing which you can do. You just need the idea. You're just understanding how you will go about. So selling and administration expenses, you will have general and administrative expenses, research and development, and operating profit, right? You will take all these 100 because these are representing your base year. We're talking about a horizontal common size analysis where we take a base year and we represent the next year 2 and year 3 as a percentage of your base year. So every number here would represent 100% because this is the base year. Every number would be 100%. So let us go back to the asset type scenario and do some computations. So this is every number here is taken as 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100. Now we have to express our year 2 and year 3 as a percentage of base year. 24 is what percentage of the base year? What you will do, 24,000 divided by 20 multiplied by 100, it will be 120%. 12,000 is what percentage of 12,000? 100%. 12,000 is what percentage of 8,000? 12 by 8 multiplied by 100, it's 150%. You're doing it all on rough paper, remember. 2,000 is what percentage of 2,000? Same, 100%. 2,000 is what percent of 1,500? 133%. 2,000 is what percent of 1,500? 133%. 6,000 is what percentage of operating profit? 3,000, 200%, right? And likewise you find for the third year and you will simply plug it in the numbers and you will get your information like this one. All the base year would be represented as 100. You will apply the same mechanism, select this, press underline, you will get the line there. Then you keep on typing it in. These are the percentages based upon the year 1. And third year numbers will also be based upon, let me take you back so that you know what to do. In the third year you will do the same thing. Third year the revenue is 30,000. It is what percentage of 20? 30 by 20 multiplied by 100 is 150%, right? And that's what you will do, 150%, and then all numbers are reported as a percentage of the base year. This is called horizontal common size analysis, where we take a certain base year and every succeeding year is expressed as a percentage of the base year, right? So having done this, you are done with question number 2. Now what it says in question number 3, it says calculate FOIL's growth rate, both revenue and operating incomes for year 2 and year 3. Show your computations. We have to show the growth in year 2 and 3 for revenues and operating income, just revenue and operating income. So going back to the scenario here. Now, what was the growth in the revenue in year 2? The growth was 24,000 is what percentage of 20%? How much has been increased? 4,000 was higher. 4,000 as a percentage of 20. 4 by 20 multiplied by 100 is 20%. Revenue has grown by 20% in year 2. Then What was the growth in year 3? Year 3 was 30,000, 6,000 higher, 6,000 higher than the previous year. So you will take 6,000 increment based upon 24, that's 6 by 24, it's going to be 25%. It means your revenue has grown 20% in year 1 to 2, and then from year 2 to 3 it has gone up by 25%. You will do the same with operating profit. Operating profit has gone up by 100% from year 1 to 2, and then it hasn't changed from year 2 to 3. So that's what you will give in the next response on year-on-year basis. See, year 2, 20%, year 2 to 3, 25%, income increased 100% from year 1 to 2, and there wasn't any increase from year 2 to 3, 0%. It can be very easily given in the text. You can simply write revenue, select and underline it, the line will come. You can click bold to make it more prominent, and you can simply give out your information this way, right? So this is how you will just lay down the information. Use your scratch paper carefully. Even if you find that you have run out of scratch paper, you can always ask for an extra one. Use as many rough papers as you want. It's not that they won't give you or supply with the extra paper. Use as many papers as you want. Your all scribbling, jotting downs would be done on the rough paper. Do the workings there and simply type it in. Speed and accuracy. You need to organize your working this way. Last question. It says, by evaluating Foil's performance against performance of the largest competitor and the industry average, identify and discuss 3 areas that Foil should target for the further investigation and performance improvement. Support your discussion with data. Now we have to compare our 3 years results with the results of our competitors. So what we are going to do, we are going to conduct a vertical common size analysis for a competitor and for industry average also. 21,600 is what percentage of sales? It's 48%. 23,400 is what percentage of the competitor's sales? It's 52%. Next is 11.11%. 7%. They are not given in your solution. I have already done it for you. 8.89%. And lastly, the net profit is 25%. For the overall industry average is, every average firm has a sale of 28. Gross profit is 14,000 per sale. That's 50%. Cost of goods sold 50% would be gross profit. It's 10.71. 8.93. 5.35%, and lastly the profit is 25%. Now you can see the problem area. You can see the problem as you go along. Let me take the highlighter first. As you can see, the gross profit margins increased in year 2, but it fell in year 3 to 40%. Whereas if you see the industry average is 52 and 50. It means I am losing on the gross margins also. My gross margin is at 40, whereas the industry average is 50 and 52. That's the problem. That is the problem. Let me highlight it with the red color, but not red color. That will make it invisible. Moving on. Next, my net profit margins are falling too. My net profit margin is now 25 and has fallen to 20, whereas the industry average has maintained. My competitor is at 25%, and overall industry average is also 25%. Right? What other trends do I see? If you look at the sales and marketing cost, maybe I'm not spending enough percentage of sales on selling and marketing. If you remember, it says that the market share is being lost. Foil has been losing market share and it is concerned about the future performance. So we can identify what has gone wrong. Our percentage of sales and marketing expense as a percentage of sales are low, 8.3 and 6.7. Whereas in the industry, it is 11.11% for the leading competitor, and it's about 10.7% as the industry average. Now we have identified the problem. If we are losing the market share, it is because we are not spending enough percentage of our sales revenue on advertisement, right? What about general expenses? They are more or less same, or rather I would say they are little on the higher side compared to the industry average, right? And also, we are also spending comparatively less in year 3 on research and development compared to the industry. We are spending just 3.3% of sales on R&D, whereas in the industry average is about 5.35, and the leading competitor is spending 8.89. So you have got enough information which you can include in your response. You just plug this information in the suitably written worded information, and that would be all. just like what we identified, that your gross margins are lower, whereas the industry margin of your competitor in industry is comparatively higher. We are standing at 40, right? Same thing was discussed, that your spending on sales and marketing is lower than the industry average. Industry is at 11 and 10.7. We were only at 6.7, right? We are also at the higher side on the general admin expense, and most importantly, our R&D is lower than the industry average. So the same numbers, you just have to find the right suitable information to be included in the essay type. If you give the right responses, no matter how brief you have written it, you will get the full credit. So that completes your essay type. There were just 4 parts to it, and there was just one essay type in your section A, and that's all.